Don't you know it's time to praise the Lord, church? Are you here to praise the Lord today? Yes. We have, as you have noticed, changed up the format of the service a little bit today. We are going to be having some family talk. I don't need to tell you about the level of violence that is going on in our society. We see it, we experience it every single day. And you may notice some of us have a little tag like I have here on our clothes. It is in support of a conference program called End It Now. That is to end domestic violence. It is very sad that in our country, the most vulnerable among us seem to be the target. Our women, our children, our elderly folk. As a church, we are affected and we can't fold our hands and sit back and not say or do anything about it. So the Central Conference today, in many of our churches, they're having programs that highlight the problem of domestic violence. And so we also must look at this issue. Unfortunately, domestic violence is not exclusive to our church members. And so I'm going to invite Sister Patrice, who on behalf of the Women's Ministries Department will share some thoughts with us on the issue of domestic violence.
Thank you, Elder Buckley. She sang in the choir, worked in children's ministry, and was a faithful member of the prayer team. Her husband also sang in the choir, was involved in men's ministry, and was a well-liked gentleman. They were a middle-class family and strong financial supporters of the church. On the surface, they appeared to be a highly functional Christian family, but underlying that storied scenario was a woman who was being physically abused by her husband. Do you know such a person? How many such cases do we have in our congregation, at the workplace, in the society? I won't be long today, but since today is being observed as End It Now Day, which is a global initiative organized by the Seventh-day Adventist Church to raise awareness and advocate for the end of violence around the world, we, the members of the Women's Ministries team, and the church by extension, wanted to add our voice to support the stance against any form of violence against women, children, and men. You already know what violence is. We see it on the news daily. We see it sometimes in the very home, in the schools. Many times we go to the hospitals, victims are there as a result of domestic violence. Domestic violence is the willful intimidation, physical assault, battery, sexual assault, and/or other abusive behavior as part of a systematic pattern of power and control, perpetrated by one intimate partner against another. It includes physical, sexual, psychological violence, and emotional abuse. Domestic violence affects individuals in every community, regardless of age, economic status, race, gender, religion, or nationality. At this time, I'm going to share some facts with you. I know you hear it on the news, but I wanted to share with the church what is happening in Jamaica. The Jamaica Constabulary Force revealed that between January 1, 2016 and February 4, 2017, the police arrested 1,000 442 perpetrators for violent offenses against women and children. I'm asked the church, is this a cause for concern or more than concern? There were 596 cases of rape, including 346 children between the ages of 0 to 17 years. There were 3,556 cases of assault, aggravated assault. The number of females murdered was 116 and 61 children. These statistics gives an overview of the Jamaican context, and the church is not immune. As we all know that in recent times, pastors were thrown into the spotlight for sexual violence. So if you think that it can't happen in the church, think again. But not only other pastors, Adventist pastors were arrested for indecent assault. Before I share with you some ways to identify domestic violence, I just want to share with you, I watched a video some time ago, and I want you to listen and to bear with me, because I want to bring to your attention that these things are happening. There was this young lady, she's about 14 years old, and she was a victim of sex trafficking. And we all know what that is. And what hurt me, it was not only the fact that she was kidnapped and those things were done to her, but what really got me was that she said that when the men raped her, women held her down so the men could have their way. Church, we need to stand against all sorts of violence. How do we identify domestic violence? We identify domestic violence if people hurt you by hitting, choking, or kicking. They try to control what you do and who you see or speak with. They pressure or force you into unwanted sex. They stalk you, including calling you constantly or follow you. They keep you from seeing your friends and your family. Do you know that there are many persons, I know of women, but I believe there are men too, who do not have the opportunity to visit their family because of a controlling spouse? If you are being abused, do not sit in silence. That is what the perpetrator wants. He wants you to think that you have done something wrong. So do not sit in silence. Resources are available to help you. The state, we implore you to contact the Women's Crisis Center or Women's Inc. And we ask that you contact the police who are being trained to deal with these matters with more sensitivity. We ask that you contact the church. The church will provide counseling, and we're fortunate enough to have among the pastors and the elders who are trained to deal with those sort of situations privately. We're fortunate to have counselors in our midst, trained professional counselors who I'm sure will be only too happy to assist you. If you are a perpetrator, because we don't want to leave anybody out. If you are a perpetrator, or if you have the tendency to control or to hit or to abuse anyone, we ask that you seek help as well before it gets too late. End It Now seeks to extend God's vision of love and compassion for all his children. I'm going to ask you to stand with us, indicating that as individuals and as a church, family, we support this global initiative to end violence among men, women, and children. I'm going to ask you to stand if you want to support this initiative. Thank you. You may be seated.
This program was brought to you by the Maypen Seventh-day Adventist Church. You may find more at Maypen SDA at youtube.com or by following us on Facebook at Maypen SDA Church. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.